My name is Piyush Chandra, and I'm a spoken English and communication skills trainer, coach, and specialist. I'm extremely passionate about my work and success of my students, and that is what has driven me for 15 years now. Yes, 15 years. That's the time that I've spent in teaching, training, and coaching now. And it has been a consistent journey of learning from peers, from students, and from all the people that have been a part of this particular journey. When I started my journey as a communication skills trainer and coach, there were a lot of things that were different from what it is now. The constant changing mechanism has kept me going. I've trained over 2 lakh students, considering group and as well as individual students. So there have been many organizations, industries, international, national, all sorts of exposure that I could get for being the person that I am today as a communication skills coach and specialist. So all these things have tremendously added to my knowledge, experience, and expertise, to be precise. So today is going to be a day when I am going to share a gist of the knowledge that I have gathered over so many years. I'm going to help you understand that English is not just about a few things. It is about things that you experience, the things that you see, and let's discuss much more about it. So starting with this particular journey, without further ado, let me go ahead with the topic and the things. So the things that we are going to cover today are, and this is very close to my heart. Let me just share with you that, you know, and it is so true that anyone can learn to speak English without hesitation. And this is something that I'm sharing with experience, and also with the successes that I've had in my years of experience. I'm also going to share some myths and realities of spoken English learning. One thing that you're going to experience today is that you do not need years to learn English. It can be learned in some months and some days for some people. English learning happens faster under expert guidance. This is something that I'm going to share my views about, how this has helped my students when they were learning through various sources, what happened to them and what happened to them when they started learning under guidance. So let's move ahead to the first topic, which is anyone can speak English. I'm sure you're very excited about learning English, and this is something that I'm very excited about. And I'm also excited about the fact that I am teaching English to you. All right, let's look forward to the fact that the first thing that I want to share with you is that English is a language and not a subject. Okay, so going forth with this particular theory, English has 3 formats in life of an Indian person. Okay, the first format is, or any for any country, for any country's person who does not have English as a native language. The first part is when you are in school, you start learning as an English as a subject to pass an examination. And that's where your exposure to first set of English instructions start. You go to a college. When you move to a college, at that point of time, English becomes a medium of communication. This time, nobody is asking you about adjective, verbs, pronouns, nouns. Nobody's talking to you about that. This time, everybody is using English as a medium of communication to teach or learn a subject, or probably communicate around in the area. Then comes stage number 3, where you come to a work world, place where you start working, your workplace and things. When you reach that particular arena, that's the third exposure to English. And now this English is completely different from the English that you learned in school and also in college. This is the English that is needed to communicate with people across the world, because this is not the kind of exposure you've had so far. Not for many. I won't say for all, but not for many. So when you are thinking of learning English, you might be having a lot of doubts in your mind about the fact the first thing that you need to think about English as a thing is that it is a language and not a subject. Let me draw a very simple analogy here. Let me draw an example here. Okay, so let's quickly understand the fact that somebody born in England doesn't go to school, doesn't have any knowledge about grammar, doesn't have any knowledge about nouns, pronouns, and all these things. Okay, do you think he'd be able to speak English? I'm sure your answer is yes. All right. When you say yes, you understand that this guy is using English as a language and not as a subject. So here we are going to talk in my classes, you're going to learn English as a language and not as a subject. One more thing that I want to point out is that you do not need to be a native to speak fluent English. That's not needed anymore. And this is something that we are going to consequently talk about. Let's say, let's say there is a person who speaks English very, very clearly, may or may not be a native of the country which has English as the first language. The thing that he needs to know clearly about is that English that he's speaking is a result of the environment. So let me just quickly say there are people who speak very, very fluent English, but they're not confident about themselves. Sometimes there are people who speak English, I mean, but then they are not confident about the words that they are speaking, the pronunciation that they're making, whether it is understood by the people around them or not. So for that, there are ways to ensure that you speak the correct English. And that is something which we are going to cover in subsequent sessions and lessons. Here, what is the most, so sometimes the thing may be coming to your mind, okay, so what is the most important thing to learn English? The most important thing when you're using English as a language for communication is pronunciation. Because the same words, let me use an example here. So let's say I'm using a word, uh, let me spell that word for you. Okay, it's Content. Somebody, so when you say this particular word, only the pronunciation of it changes the meaning of the word. So the same spelling is for two different words. Okay, when you say content, it means some substance, it means volume, it means something as a structure. And the same spelling also is pronounced as content, which means satisfaction, right? So here the idea is we need to understand that a word said wrongly can create so much difference to the meaning of the word. So pronunciation is very, very important. And this is something that only an expert teacher can deep dive and help you learn. One more thing. Sometimes, or probably most of the times, people just say their bit to people. You know, they just say their bit. And I have passed on my English to the other guy. That's how some people do. You know, they just pass on their English to the other person. At this point of time, we need to understand that communication is about is when it is complete, when the other person understands what you wanted to say, not just what you just said. The meaning of the entire purpose of your communication has to be clearly understood by the other person, and that's when your communication is complete. If the other person is not able to understand what you said, and you thought that you just said and the other person has not understood, you need to look back at yourself and see what is the kind of communication you're making. So English is a communication language. It is not just about showing that you can speak fluent English. It is also about making a communication complete. Let's go further, and you would clearly understand what I want to say. Okay, so let me just quickly share about, like I said, I'm going to share some myths and realities about English as a language. There are times, people feel that I don't know English. I don't know much English. And I've come across many students, I mean, to the tune of hundreds of students who have come across before they joined me and before we started working together. Uh, Even when they were able to speak some words, they said that, I don't know English. I want to learn English. I say here that English means different things to different people. I've come across many examples, so there are people who have approached me to learn English for matrimonial purposes, and they said that, okay, so there is somebody from England who's going to come to see me, just teach me English in 7 days. And there are people who have been extremely, extremely serious, and they have lived their life in village, studied in Hindi medium school or probably a regional medium school, and they said that, I now want to communicate with the world. I have something, I have worked something out, and I want to communicate to the world, and I do not want a translator, and I do not want somebody, and these are very, very serious and influential people. They come across and they say that, I want to communicate myself to the world, not through somebody else, and I do not want somebody else's views to go through that. What we worked upon jointly, and in many cases individually also, that I worked very, very hard, and I found out how much English this particular person knows, because sometimes even in your regional language, or in your, or the language that you use most of the times, there are some times that you don't get the right words, you don't get the right things, but you're still able to manage. Why can't we do that in English? Okay, so it is actually about the right mindset, the English thinking that you need to have. First of all, you need to be very, very confident about the fact that, this being not your native language, nobody is really expecting you to speak fluently. And by fluently, most of the times I've heard people mean that, they are able to, hey, speak English like, somebody who has lived his entire life in Australia, England, or US. Fluency, there is this myth. Fluency is about being able to pronounce and use the words that you know clearly. If I am speaking English slowly, that does not make me a person who does not know English. The reason why I'm speaking slowly is because I want you to understand each and every word of what I'm speaking. That's what English means to me. A language to communicate with people, not as a medium to show to people that, I know English, and show in my regional area, or show in to the people around me that, hey, I know this much English. That's not what it is about. It is about communicating to people what they should know and what you wanted to convey. All right. I hope this particular thing might have struck your mind. Let me go a little further, and this would make it even better. I need to know English versus for what? There is no limitation for some people to know English, So uh, even I don't know, maybe somebody wants to become a lexicographer. A lexicographer is actually a person who makes a dictionary or manages a dictionary. So I don't know, maybe there are people who want to become lexicographers, but for others, they do not need more English than their basic communication, their day-to-day communication, where they have to invite people, where they have to talk to people, say a hi to somebody, and say a bye to somebody, or go to somebody's sad moment or happy moment, and then talk about that. So the purpose of learning English has to be absolutely, absolutely clear in somebody's mind, and that is something that I help people understand. And I diagnose the purpose of learning English with uh, for each and every person. And that is why I take a few classes of mine as private classes initially, to ensure I clearly understand the purpose of why this person is coming to learn English. So the what has to be absolutely, absolutely clear. And that is when I am going to be able to fill the gap of English that you want. Okay. The third thing that is that I think I have also talked about it initially when I started my presentation. People feel that I need to learn grammar principle. I feel what is it needed for? Okay, because when you learn English in school, that is the only time you need. Then somebody is asking you for grammar. Okay, write the definition of adverb, write the definition of verb, write the definition of whatever. There are many things, but that is something that is needed for me as a teacher. If you are looking forward to make English learning a profession, it is needed for you. It is absolutely important, vital for your growth. It's absolutely needed in case if you want to grow in this particular profession, you definitely need to know grammar by heart and by practice. But for somebody who is not going to practice English as a profession, I have seen it is it is not needed. What they need most of the times, what you need most of the times to be precise, is hand holding. Is somebody being able to tell you exactly, okay, let me just draw another example here. Have you ever seen a child learn? How a kid learns? A little baby, how he starts learning? He starts copying. That's the first way you learn a language. Okay? If you see those people who never went to school can speak fantabulous English, it is because their parents taught them to do that. Their environment taught them to do that. And nobody ever taught them, okay, so when he was learning English, nobody taught him, okay, so, oh, hey, it's a noun. You got to say it like this. It's a pronoun, or it's I don't know what not. There are many things in there. Your past participle is a problem. Okay, that's and your continuous noun is a problem, or whatever. There are many things. But is it needed for you to use English as a language? I think in almost most of the cases, no. For you, what is needed that I know, okay, you need a perfect, when you go to a doctor, okay, the doctor gives you a medicine, a doctor gives you a cure. Do you get into his profession? You don't get into his profession. You don't have to go that deep into his profession. All you need to be concerned about whether you're going to get fit or not. Okay, so here, that diagnosis study that needs to be done, this is something that I've done already. Now, I need to ensure, as a great mentor, as a great coach, what is that you need to speak English comfortably? Fluency, like I said, means different things to different people. Somebody would want to probably be wanting to impress somebody by English, but that's not a language is for. Maybe you can use it and people get impressed by the way you speak, the way you communicate to people. But then that should not ideally be the purpose of using a language. Okay. And so one of the things that plays a major role in communication is confidence. Most of the people keep their English to themselves. They don't even speak. They do not even communicate with people. They may be right. They may be absolutely right. They may be right to the extent of completely right, but they still don't speak. They don't say. They don't communicate. The key, the actual way of learning English is to be confident about whatever English you have. Okay, and then polish it. So first of all, like if somebody has a car and the other guy has a scooter, the guy who has a scooter or a bike probably manages it in such a way, that he starts feeling confident. So there are people, you can be not confident about when you have the world's best things with you. So confidence has nothing to do with scarcity, and neither confidence comes with abundance. There's no relationship between the two. Confidence is something which you need to develop to be sure about whatever you have, whatever blessings you have, whatever things you have. And then now, I'm so sorry, I'm being a little philosophical here, but then that works. Okay, that also helps. That is very, very helpful. It confidence is something that continuously drives you, and this is something that I help you develop in the first place. The mindset, the right mindset. If you get the right mindset, if you get the right uh, confidence level, nothing is unsurmountable. There is nothing that you cannot do. So, and then we probably brush up on the all the three factors, and then we go about it. I'm sure you're enjoying this particular moment of experiencing things in a different course of action. And let's go further and see how this works more. Okay. So, like I said, it's phenomenal. It's been a phenomenal learning process for me. As a person, I'm very, 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 very keen on success. I want to see things happening faster and better. And I continuously research and also follow my ways of working. So, whatever I've done in the past, whatever I'm doing now, the things that I'm doing now are definitely going to be better than the things that I've done in the past, because I don't stop. I don't stick to a methodology. I don't stick to a way of doing things. And I am working on even faster method of doing things. Currently, I have seen and I have done it. I assure you that you can speak English in just 2 months. You can not choose it and be not confident about it, but yes, it can be done. It's been done in the past. I've done it for many of students. Okay, so one of the things that would build up your confidence about this particular fact is that the things that have worked here, out of them, the topmost has been the right mindset. I have been able to help students develop the right mindset rather than rather than all bizarre thoughts around it. Okay, you can't just keep thinking about learning English and not doing much actions. The actions also need to be directed. The actions also need to be guided in a proper format. They cannot be just actions which would be anything. So I have seen students, they have been reading newspapers for years. They've been watching YouTube videos for years. They've been listening to various people around them who have been speaking in English. Uh, they have been watching English movies for a lot of time. They've been reading English books, trying to read them, trying to discover all the words around them. Now, this is this is an example of a completely unstructured approach where neither they know of the start nor they know of the end. What is needed to learn a language is to have a perfect start so that you start getting that amazing amount of confidence to move further. And that is what I help you develop in the first place, which is the right mindset. Absolutely the right mindset, which is needed to go about further. I don't believe in making everybody do hard work. Uh, I believe in a mix of both hard work and smart work. So when I say hard work and smart work, it means that you do not have to start from scratch all the time. If you if you if you can get a right mentor who has already been through that journey and has chosen that as a passionate profession, then you would not have to continue the same journey of going through the same pebbles or probably the rock stones or the same efforts that he would have faced in his life. He would always be able to give you or show you or navigate to you the right way of reaching there. He would know what amount of, so just an example, okay, so why do we sometimes hire personal trainers at the gym? Why do we sometimes get the best kind of doctors or things? Why don't we just start learning everything ourselves? Because that takes too much of time, energy, and also there is a possibility of the fact that you may or may not succeed. However, if you can follow a successful person, or if you can get a successful person who has already been through that exciting journey or a tremendous journey, and that person agrees to give you the gift of not getting into that uh, effortful journey, not getting into that journey which might include all the frustrations, all the things that he might have been through in his entire career. If you get the right set of person, then you are a smart person. That's what makes you a very, very smart person. You choose the right person who's going to show you the way. Even if you, I don't know if all my listeners would understand this, all the viewers would understand this, but then uh, Chanakya was the person who did all the, and if you would have watched him, if you would have seen or read his story, you would have seen that he was the person who did all the efforts to ensure success of his disciple. And I leave it to you now to figure out who the disciple was, because that can be you, right? So now, uh, like I said, I think I've talked enough about that particular thing, and I would like to reiterate now. I would like to probably lay the best possible emphasis upon the fact that right guidance makes you achieve faster. If you are not following the right guidance, your journey might be successful or might not be successful. But whether you want to go through that experiential journey, that's your choice. If you want success in minimum possible time and the results in the best possible time, then you got to follow the right guidance. And here at UrbanPro, here you get the best set of tutors, you get the best sort of people, and you get the best sort of advice to be able to get things done. So right guidance is very, very, very important. And you can look for the right guidance here and achieve the results that you are wanting to achieve very, very fast. Like I said, in minimum possible time. Yeah. Okay, I'm sure that you might want to know about how right guidance works and what it is about. So let me just go a little deeper into this particular aspect. And this being the key feature of the entire this being the genesis and also the topmost layer of becoming an English speaker. I have experienced that people when they come across to me, they have probably tried everything in their life to learn English. They have been through all sorts of experience and exercises and things, and have invested or wasted, I don't know what they term that as, but they have gone through years of frustration, feeling let down about themselves and things, and then they come up to me. And then they say, okay, then again they come to me again as one of the methods that they would want to try. But when they start seeing success in a few classes, in a few moments, in the least possible time that they ever experienced in their life, the belief in learning English as a language starts getting deeper. So I again want to emphasize upon the importance of right guidance. Like they say, the best way to achieve faster and better results is by transferring the responsibility of structuring learning for you to an expert. Like when a doctor writes a prescription, he's not looking for advice from you, he's looking for just information. So as a communication skills coach, as a communication skills mentor, I take extreme responsibility. I take individual responsibility of structuring learning for each and every of my student. How I do that? I'm a professional instructional designer. I'm a trained instructional designer. What instructional design means? Instructional design means if you are able to design a learning structure from a learner's perspective. What it means is that, like I said, somebody wants to learn English for matrimonial purposes, somebody wants to learn it for an IELTS interview, somebody would want to do it for a visa interview, somebody would want it to be doing it for I mean, any other purpose. I mean, there can be many purposes why you would want to learn English. And somebody might just want to impress uh, the other part, maybe whatever. There can be multiple reasons why you would want to learn English. However, for any reason that you might have, for any purpose that you might have for learning English, somebody needs to take the responsibility of structuring it for the way you want it. And in addition, a right teacher would save you time by preparing you through the most effective ways that he or she has mastered through the years of experience and research and practice as well. So you see that you would not have to practice, experience, or research too many things. You would not have to try, err, learn, relearn, unlearn. You would not have to go through all those things. Somebody would have already done all those things for you, structured the entire thing for you. So how I do it? I start with ensuring that I take a proper understanding of what English means to you, what you would want to use English for, and then subsequently building your learning structure and giving it back to you. And so that the satisfaction is completely guaranteed at both ends. That's what I completely look for. So uh, I move forward, and I would want to uh, share the key takeaways of this particular session and the sessions that we might continue going forward. You know, the session, this particular session, I'm sure would have helped develop some confidence, and you would be able to understand some things. But what I do through subsequent sessions is I help you develop very, very substantial amount of confidence, extremely substantial amount of confidence to be able to express yourself effectively, to create a valuable first impression. Because people scan you, and they see you, and they actually go ahead and check you in the first 16 seconds of they meet you, whether they want to communicate further to you or with you. That entirely depends upon the first impression that you leave on them. And I help you create a lasting first impression, not just a valuable first impression, a lasting first impression. Okay. I also help you discover your strengths. Like I said, I concentrate upon the right mindset and being able to showcase to others in an extremely effective way. Because communication is only complete when it's effective, not just anything. You said it, the other person didn't understand it, could not act on it, not working out. Communication is only complete when the other person is able to understand it and can act on it, and act what you wanted him to do. That's when this gets complete. So I would want to have a special mention towards the end of this entire presentation that I'll also help you learn some perfect words and sentences to make that everlasting impression that you would leave on people. That's the Piyush Chandra giveaway. That's the way I look at it. Okay. So and So thank you very, very much for your time. And so if you're ready to make that move, uh, me and UrbanPro shall give you the way. So thank you very, very much for your time. I look forward to sharing uh, the journey with you. Thank you very much. Thanks again.